hedge fund operators, private equity investors. You know, the Wall Street pros have been scooping up homes using all cash across the U.S. But now they're packing up and they're moving out of the market, at least according to my next guest. Stephen Meister is a real estate attorney and author of the book, Commercial Real Estate Restructuring Revolution. Welcome to the show, Steve. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
So let's start by talking about these February existing home sales. What a nightmare. The lowest level since July 2012. I got to tell you, this was an ugly month, and you say it might be because of what these pros are doing.
In part, I think it is. The pros are pulling out. They're selling some of the houses. They bought maybe 800,000 houses in 2011, 12, and 13. I think there may have been a weather impact as well in there, but I do think the pros pulling out is an effect.
So, Steve, why are they doing this? Because let me tell you, I don't think prices are back to 2006 levels yet.
They're not quite back there, but what happened is that they went in after the market crashed in 2011, 12, and into maybe the first half of 13, and they were scooping up these homes and buying hundreds of thousands of them, and then prices went up, as you know, maybe 10, 12% in the last year. So they're okay. Let's get out of Dodge and sell those houses.
So they see the profit, they can lock it in, they're getting out. Now, my interest is in what is this going to do for the real estate market that you and I play in, individual buyers, home buyers, maybe first-time buyers play in. Are prices going to come down again? Does this provide opportunity? Well,
let me say that I think that's going to very much depend on the area of the country. These Wall Street investors have not bought across the board. They went into the overheated markets and
Phoenix, California, Florida.
Right, where there was a lot of distress, and Nevada, and they bought up those areas, and so it's going to depend on where we're talking about. But I do think there is some pressure on the housing sector, these Wall Street investors.
So there will be pressure on prices. And that's good news for people in those markets because that's where prices have risen the most.
It's good news, but the mortgage rates
are rising higher.
Are rising, so net, it's going to be a squeeze, you know, sort of in opposite directions. Prices may come back down a little bit, but mortgage rates may go up a little bit.
One of the big questions, too, I think, is will lenders be free with money or not?
I don't think they're going to be as free, and maybe that isn't a bad thing because obviously being too free with the money fueled the crisis. We were also discussing that the first-time home buyer, which is the beginning of the food chain, so to speak, they're saddled with a lot of college debt, the younger first-time home buyers, and that's also impinging the market a little bit.
So there are lots of pressures on the market, and I think people saw prices go through the roof last year, and they're watching to see what happens next. What do you think happens to that median existing home price, the number that everybody watches?
I think it'll at least level off. It could go down a little bit. I think, you know, clearly 12% year-over-year gains is not a sustainable growth rate. And so, at a minimum, I think we're going to see a tapering off as these Wall Street investors pull out, mortgage rates creep up, and of course, the real net unemployment rate is still nothing pretty to look at.
We'd love to see a big recovery. There's nothing like jobs to boost the housing market, right?
People pay for their mortgages with their jobs.
Well, you got to have a salary. You got to be in it to win it, and you got to have a salary. Stephen, thanks for coming on. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Interesting stuff.